Despite recent negative headlines from Africa, the continent remains the frontier for investment and great returns. This was the sentiment that emerged at the EY Strategic Growth Forum on Africa 2015, currently underway in Sandton, Johannesburg.
For many years now, Africa has become the darling for investors seeking great returns. Endowed with natural resources and a young population, there is much untapped potential. But of late, negative issues and headlines have besieged the continent. Lower commodity prices, due largely to a slowdown in China, have put many a resource country on the back foot. Then there are the oil-exporting nations like Nigeria and Angola, whose revenues have taken a severe beating. And with weakening currencies in anticipation of a US Fed rate hike, in addition to wide budget deficits, the picture painted has often been bleak. But stakeholders here are of the view that numerous opportunities are there for the taking and that companies need to adapt their operations to the local environment and ultimately benefit African citizens.
We mustn't allow a situation where Africans are going to be observers. Business people in Africa, entrepreneurs in Africa, government, civil society groups, we have to drive the type of change that's going to ensure that we address underdevelopment. We invest hugely in rolling out infrastructure throughout the continent. Infrastructure is the key driver of that. But Africa has got enormous opportunity, youthful population, young people who have energy. Only if they are given opportunities, they will be able to be the key drivers and shapers of Africa's destiny.
The view at this conference is that those investors who want to make big returns over a short-term horizon should rather withdraw their interest. Some multinationals present say they're looking beyond the haze of unfavorable foreign exchange rates, inflation, corruption and other challenges, and investing in markets where the long-term potential is huge.
If you even it out over a long term backwards, you see a very impressive growth rate. And if you project that into the future, I take an economy like Ethiopia, has been one of the fastest growing economies in the world last 6 years, projected for the next 5 years, and that's real. So I think that's why we have to take a long-term view, otherwise you're not actually making any investments in Africa.
For those already invested, regulatory environment concerns across the continent continue to be aired.
The economic partnership agreements and the free trade agreements is never been implemented with the right spirit. Okay, too much protection at the borders, depending on the industry's nature and or political influence. These are all, if there is a proper political will and economic interest for the continent or for the region, let me put it that way, it will be a different picture what you see 10 years down the line from now.
With Africa growing at far faster rates than Western economies, even before the continent resolves issues around power and other infrastructural needs, investors here believe its value proposition is real, and corporates appear keen to capitalize on the opportunity, understanding the overriding demand that any benefits accrued must be shared with locals. Nompumelelo Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.